Tonight on The Update, President sacks NYA CEO. 2 other deputies also dismissed regarding internal bickering. President swears in board of SIGA. New board instructed to uphold accountable governance. Obiama questions TMA. TMA lashed over inability to meet revenue targets. New ladders for fire service. Area ladders to reach 10-story buildings. MTTD officers to be given arms, bulletproofs. Interior Minister defends MTTD's decision. Woman grabbed for human trafficking. US woman held in Philippines for attempt to fly with baby in bag. SA xenophobic attacks worsen. South African president calls for arrest of those involved. Good evening and welcome to The Update. You are right on time to be brought up to speed on trending issues in Ghana and the rest of the world. My name is Kofi Esiedu. Please stay for the news. Now let's delve into the stories. President Nana Akufo-Addo has sacked the Chief Executive Officer of the National Youth Authority (NYA), Emmanuel Asigri, and his 2 deputies, Richard Ebang Obeng and Bright Champong. Mr. Asigri, according to sources, was given the chance to resign but failed to do so, leading to his sacking. Minister for Youth and Sports Isaac Esiama announced the dismissals in separate letters dated September 3, 2019, addressed to the affected people. The statement directed Mr. Ebang Obeng and Mr. Champong as well as Mr. Sigri to hand over to Emmanuel Anamang Mensah, Director of Technical Projects of the Authority, and proceed to collect any terminal benefits or facilities due them. The grounds for the Deputy CEO's dismissal remains unclear but may not be unconnected with internal bickering. Mr. Sigri has been accused of a dubious 4.5 million Ghana cedis contract awarded to Perforos for the training of some 500 youth in street light repairs. The contract is said to have grossly breached procurement regulations. Earlier, a board member of NYA, Arnold Boateng, resigned, spilling the beans about the untidy contract. Also, President Akufo-Addo on Tuesday swore in the board of State Interest and Governance Authority (SIGA), formerly known as State Enterprises Commission, with a strict instruction to uphold accountable governance. According to the president, the state-owned enterprises in many ways did not work in the interest of the people and the country, and that was the main reason for the establishment of SIGA, saying, "It is my expectation that you would help develop a new culture and should not be bound by the old culture and practices of its predecessors." The president said it was time SOEs added value and played a productive role in the development of the country's economy. The board will be chaired by Terence Dario. Felix Intrakwa, who spoke on behalf of the board, assured that the body would ensure the interest of Ghana is protected to bring about the desired change being sought. The board will be under the direct supervision of the Office of the President. Meanwhile, Deputy Minister for Local Government and Rural Development, the Member of Parliament for Ekuapem South, Osei-Bonsu Amwa, has questioned the Tema Metropolitan Assembly TMA's inability to meet its revenue targets. He expressed surprise about TMA, which once upon a time intended to dash its share of the common fund to other assemblies, is now struggling to meet its internally generated funds (IGF) target for last year. The MP called for the need to interrogate the rationale behind the shortfall in revenue regeneration. Mr. Amwa expressed the concern when he paid a working visit to the TMA to deliberate on development issues. However, in a quick response, the Metropolitan Chief Executive MCE of Tema, Felix Mensah Ni Anangla, blamed the shortfall in revenue on the mandate of some other government institutions, such as Tema Development Company Limited, TDC, and Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, GPHA. He was accompanied by other senior officials of the ministry. He served notice that he would be visiting most metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies (MMDAs) in the Greater Accra region to have first-hand information on issues bordering the assemblies and how best to resolve them. Now to matters of security, the Minister of Interior, Ambrose Derry, has stated that an order has been placed for the purchase of 2 new fire engines with aerial ladders that could reach 10-story buildings in the retooling investment in the internal security services. The engines, he said, are to complement existing ones which are nearing retirement after they were procured in 2004 for the Ghana National Fire Service. Addressing personnel of the service in Kumasi as part of his working visit to the Ashanti region, the minister indicated that the hydraulic platforms will allow firefighters to work from a higher height than the current appliances. According to him, the retooling packages include personnel protective equipment to enable personnel protect lives and properties by promptly responding to fire emergencies and accidents in the country. Mr. Derry said the ministry was working towards getting the Ghana National Fire Service the needed equipment for them to work assiduously and effectively for the interest of the nation. On to more stories about security. The Minister of Interior, Ambrose Derry, has defended government's directive for officers of the Motor Traffic and Transport Department, MTTD, to be given arms and bulletproofs, saying the move is in the interest of the nation. According to him, the decision is to ensure that all police officers, including MTTDs, effectively exercise their right to self-defense and assist in fighting violent crime on the street. There have been debates in the public domain on the directive, with many arguing that arming the MTTD officers and protecting them with bulletproof vests and helmets is a threat to security. But the Interior Minister believes otherwise, arguing that if people who are not trained can buy arms to protect themselves and is not a threat to peace, how can arming trained, competent and professional officers of the Ghana Police Service be a threat to society? He was addressing some police officers in the Ashanti region as part of his 2-day working visit to interact with security personnel under the Ministry of Interior in the area. The gruesome murder of Sergeant Michael Jamisi and Lance Corporal Awal Mohammed at Budumburam near Kaswa in broad daylight triggered the government's decision to arm all police officers on the street after approving compensation packages for the dependents of the slain officers. The Interior Minister said President Akufo-Addo had confidence in the Ghana Police Service and the professionalism of the officers, pointing out that the government is again adding additional sources of information about officers' operations by providing them with cameras on their jackets. On to some international stories. Chaos broke out at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport early Wednesday morning after a tip-off of a woman who tried flying with a baby in her luggage. Philippines Immigration Bureau reported that a 43-year-old woman had been caught with a child in her bag at the Ninoy Airport in Manila. According to the spokesperson of the Immigration Bureau, Melvin Mabulak, the woman appeared to be traveling alone and only presented her personal passport, but when staff inspected her oversized carry-on suitcase, they found a child inside. From CNN, the woman who claimed to be the child's aunt could not provide any evidence of being related. And now a new development coming in concerning the xenophobic attacks in South Africa. President Cyril Ramaphosa has called for the arrest of those involved in the horrendous act. From a statement, the South African president was quoted saying he had convened a security meeting with law enforcement agencies to stop these acts of wanton violence. He said there was no justification for the attacks and warned that violence on foreign businesses could trigger xenophobic attacks against South Africans living abroad.
Now I'd like to condemn the violence that has been spreading around a number of provinces in our country in the strongest terms. The attacks on people who run businesses from foreign nationals is something that's totally unacceptable. It's something that we cannot allow to happen in South Africa, where people who are running their own businesses are attacked and their businesses are destroyed through looting and being firebombed. Something that is completely against the ethos that we as South Africans espouse. The people of our country want to live in harmony, and whatever grievance and concerns that people have, we need to handle it in a democratic way. We need to handle it by discussing concerns and problems that we may have. And we've done so very well in the past on a number of other very difficult issues. And this is precisely what we should continue doing.
Reports from CNN state that 5 people have been killed in the arrest that started last week in Tshwane, Pretoria. By Tuesday, police had arrested 189 people allegedly involved in the violence that fled Sunday in Johannesburg. Meanwhile, some African states, including the African Union, have issued statements condemning in the strongest terms the incidents of violence against nationals of fellow African countries in South Africa. Thank you for making time to watch the update. Join me again tomorrow for more topical stories across the globe. Keep updated on dailyguidenetwork.com and at Daily Guide Network on social media. The update is brought to you by Diamond Cement and powered by Press Express. See you again tomorrow.